No.
You know what's funny, Justin, is that, as you say, get my swearing out of the system, and we can cuss on YouTube. I did a conversation with Justin Barrasso, undisputed.substat.com, as we're live on YouTube. I did a conversation with Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. And as soon as I hit record, Mike Bennett goes, "Holy shit, a bird." Because he was on his porch in Illinois. And
no birds down here.
No birds down there. As it looks like you're at a bar having a good time.
I'm in the base. Yeah, I'm in the basement, but yeah, or the downstairs.
Bar sounded so much better because you could have a basement in the bar. But
there is a basement in the bar, though. So yes, there
okay.
is a basement at the bar. So I'm at the bar downstairs.
Fair enough. Justin Barrasso, combat correspondent for his own site. It's called undisputed.substack. We're going to talk WrestleMania tonight. Justin, what do you got coming up in your newsletter on your Substack?
This is the Road to WrestleMania series. It's WrestleMania week, Monday. Francis Conn and I, for the High Above Ringside podcast, which you've heard James Stewart's voice on before, it'd be great to do a post-mania with you too, Jimmy. We did a deep dive at WrestleMania 7, which is funny. It had 14 matches, which is one more than this current WrestleMania is scheduled to have. It lasted 3.5 hours. This current Mania has 13 matches and will last much longer than 3.5 hours. Today, it was Damian Priest reflecting back on his WrestleMania 40 cash-in, which is a big deal, right? 17 years in wrestling, finally had his moment to win the world title. And he was never the guy. So it was finally his chance to be the guy. Tomorrow, Wednesday, is Shawn Michaels talking about WrestleMania 8, which I was thrilled we talked about it. You never hear Shawn, or rarely do you hear Shawn talk about WrestleMania 8, especially it was supposed to be Jannetty Michaels. It ended up being Michaels Tito Santana, which that match had nothing behind it. It was a good match for Michaels, him going into it, how important it was for him to work with a guy as seasoned as Tito in that spot and to have Sherry in his corner. Thursday, Hulk Hogan talking about the original plan for the original WrestleMania, and Friday will be the prediction. So busy week for Undisputed. Yeah, it's undisputed.substack.com. There's my Twitter there, at justinbarrasso.com. We have an April raffle. It's the big rubber guy, Andre the Giant, with the Ultimate Warrior face paint. It's open to all subscribers, so subscribe. And I'm excited to talk some WrestleMania 41 tonight.
Proud to say that I was subscriber number 1, paid subscriber number 1, and happy to support your projects. And the great thing about Justin's Substack is that it comes right into your email box. So you don't have to click. Once you subscribe, it goes right to your email box, and it just makes life so much easier in just keeping up with everything, because that's how marketing is now. It goes right to your phone, and it's like boom, it's right there. Because
that's my favorite part of the app. It's just the instantaneous, and the people I follow on Substack too, like it's in the email. Jimmy, should I tweet this out right now that we're live?
Yeah, you can. There's a YouTube link that I'll tweet right now, actually.
I'll retweet and I'll
because I think we got a lot of stuff going on right now. Let me click. Snap. If I blue screen, Justin, understand that it's you, it's not me, because I've had some computer problems recently. So let's do this. We're live, pal.
The WrestleMania 9, speaking of Vince, the WrestleMania 9 Becoming a Spectacle documentary, which I enjoyed.
There we go. So I thought the Bruce Pritchard Conrad one was so much better 7 years ago.
Yes. The footage was cool, but you can't have Scott Steiner mention a Randy Savage story, then not tell about how Hogan got the black eye from Randy. Yep. Then he doesn't tell the story. Either you can't run the clip, or you got to tell the story. It's one or the other. You can't have both ways. Plus, I didn't like the Lex Luger line. They also didn't follow up on when he's like, "Oh, Kurt Hennig didn't call the match. Kurt would always call the match." And they didn't have a good match, Luger and Perfect, at WrestleMania 9. Most of the Mania 9 card wasn't good for a number of reasons. But he's like, maybe he had too much caffeine. Was that like a euphemism, or what was that? Like, nothing was followed up. So I don't know. I didn't like, and it's tough when people aren't here anymore to speak on their behalf. So I don't know. I still recommend the documentary, but I agree with you. The Bruce Conrad show.
I immediately after the Peacock series, I had to go back because I remember it vividly, and I'm like, oh, they were fighting about the European tour, and that was the real reason why Hulk had the belt. And Hulk was planned to get the belt months in advance, according to Bruce at the time. And sometimes in the industry reporting evolves, but that's neither here nor there. But WrestleMania 9, one of the worst WrestleManias of all time, and they hyped it up like it was the greatest thing because it was a spectacle.
And it was a cool set. Like, I think you got to give it that,
beautiful.
right?
Yeah.
But
as far as the show goes, it's like I was pissed that Bret lost because I was a Bret Hart. Bret Hart was the first poster out on my wall, so I was upset that he lost. And there's a great alternate. It was almost, if I remember correctly, Justin, it was almost Scott Steiner winning the Rumble. Or am I a year too early? Oh, I think I'm a year too early. No, wait. Wasn't there
right.
Bruce Pritchard pitch of Scott Steiner wins the Rumble? You tell the story of Scott Steiner, and then he goes into WrestleMania 9 as the challenger.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think I believe that, but how do you not touch on Savage trying, if you're going to talk about Yoko winning that Rumble, which more Yoko, the better. How do you not talk about Savage trying to pin Yoko? Savage had some weird Rumble spots. With Jake, he eliminates himself. With Yokozuna, he tries to pin him. Like, there was some weird stuff.
Justin, I think the whole idea is that this Savage was crazy. And that's just
I'm a Randy Savage guy through and through.
Oh, I am too. I got the figure behind me. I got the belt. That's a Macho Man Velcro belt, which I think I've showed you in person. So
I do think I would rank, and I know he was the opponent in the match, not the attraction. I would, in WrestleMania 3, the roles reversed. I would put Savage Warrior over Savage Steamboat.
So here's the great thing, and then we'll actually talk about this year's WrestleMania card. Is Savage had one of the great runs in WrestleMania history.
He's the first Mr. WrestleMania.
Yes, and it's not even close. He gets George Steele at WrestleMania 2. He gets Steamboat at 3. He gets the tournament and the win at 4. He gets Hogan
and the DiBiase
at 5.
match is really good.
Yes, it is. There was a better one from Saturday night's main event, but it didn't have the stakes or the audience. He gets Dusty Rhodes at 6.
Which is a really fun mixed tag. Super fun.
He gets Warrior at 7. He gets Ric Flair at 8. That's a hell of a WrestleMania run right there.
And I'll tell you
what, he's got 2 world title wins in that span.
And he brought the best out of Crush at 9. Like, it was the only cool Crush heel moment. I think it was a Falls Count Anywhere.
Hung him up in a back room.
Yes. Which must be miserable for the like our WrestleMania in Boston when the New Age Outlaws fight Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack and everything cool's happening in the back. It's like, what am I doing? But for pay-per-view, the pay-per-view audience, it's fun, but not so much if you're there live.
Well, they
quite a Punjabi prison match, but
the wrong dumpster happened. So what I'm going to do, Justin, is I'm going to give you the outline, the very quick outline of how I would book 2 nights of WrestleMania. It's going to be very quick. Get your pen out, and we'll go through like what you hate, and we'll kind of go from there. I would open WrestleMania night 1. I would have Jey Uso win the world title from Gunther. I would have them have a good match, but the show opens up. Jey Uso's yeeting. He wins the title. They yeet for another 10 minutes, and then we go into New Day winning the tag belts from the War Raiders. We go to Rey Mysterio beating Chad Gable. We go to Jade beating Naomi. We go to Jacob Fatu beating LA Knight and becoming the new U.S. champion, which should have been the Jimmy Uso spot. We go to Tiffany Stratton retaining by cheating against Charlotte Flair. And then we go to the night 1 main event of CM Punk winning the triple threat. Seth Rollins walks out with Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns takes the summer off because I think his contract is up. So
are we talking about night 1 now, or are we going to night 2?
We'll stop with night 1 because I gave you a lot there.
All right, I agree. I think that. So I think so much of my and I love WWE. I grew up with WWE, but I mean, so much of my writing the last 10 years, like I've just tried to. If you study the New Japan style of booking, you can normally tell who's going to win and lose. Not always, it's not, but you got to build a certain title changes. Now it's unique here. Like I wonder if they shot themselves in the foot by having Jey Uso win the Rumble. If you put the title in that match, the main event, the World Heavyweight Championship, it adds a little more oomph. Punk could get a moment if he wins, or Rollins, or if Reigns is hanging around. Either way, with a title, it's like, why is there no belt in this match? I would open 100%. If Jey Uso's winning, which I think he is, he opens with Gunther. by beating Gunther. I agree 100% there. So you've got a babyface opening the card. Triple H is an old school booker too. So you got a babyface winning the. I think you're right. The number 2 spot is a dreaded spot at WrestleMania. I actually kind of think that the New Day belongs there, and I'm a huge New Day guy. This heel run has been flat ever since they turned on Big E. It's gone nowhere. I don't know how this is on the card, but the Motor City Machine Guns and Street Profits aren't in a ladder match. I don't understand that.
Because you need something for SmackDown, you need something for Raw. That's why. That's the answer. That's why Chelsea Green isn't on this. This is why there are talents who should be on WrestleMania that are. But see, Justin, this is the thing about last year's Mania is that there were a lot of 10-minute matches. So we reference the WrestleManias 1 through 10, and a lot of those matches are 5, 6, 7 minutes.
3 in some cases.
That's why you could get 14 matches on a show, because they were giving you a sample of what to see on the house show. It's a totally different booking.
It is, but it still works in the sense that you need variety. You can't have all, and like I love AEW's pay-per-views, but a lot of the matches it's too consistently long. It's so many long matches. You need quicker. You just need variety. So like I think Mysterio Gable should be quick. Like that match, if that match, and that's not a knock on either one of those guys. But I mean, Rey Mysterio is an all-time star, but I'd make that match quick. New Day War Raiders should not go over 12 minutes. Should it even be double-digit minutes? I don't know.
No, it's an 8-minute match. It's 8 minutes.
Yeah.
So there are 2 quickie matches that I would have here. And by the way, I would have Big E help New Day win the tag belts.
Oh, I love it. Or mistakenly too. I wouldn't mind if he just tries to hurt them, but he ends up helping them. Give me a little subtlety and nuance. I'm fine with that too.
You do Jay and Gunther, you give them 10 minutes, right? Because the eating is going to take up 10 minutes. So there's 20 minutes for your opener. You have New Day win the belts in under 10 minutes. You have Ray and Chad Gable go 15, and Ray picks up the win. You have Jade beat Naomi in like 5 minutes, right?
So I would change up your card a little bit. I'd open with Jay. That's going to be, I would think, between 10 and 20. I'd go New Day, but I'd make that quick. I'd go Ray and Gable. I wouldn't make it a squash, but I'd make it 6 minutes. Not every match needs to be long, and you can do a lot in a short amount of time. If anybody could, it's those 2 guys. I would change though. I would have Tiffany. I would go Tiffy time after that. I would go Tiffany Charlotte, and then you go the Jade match, and then I would have Jacob Fatu. And I don't think they're going to do this. It's what he should have done with Braun. He came close on Saturday Night's Main Event, and they changed their mind, and they got cold feet, or Braun didn't like it, or whatever the reason was. I would have Jacob Fatu absolutely squash LA Knight. LA Knight will be fine.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, give Jacob Fatu the moment. Make it mean something, which LA Knight's U.S. title runs have not meant anything. Get him out of there, and he'd actually be a good opponent for John Cena, in my opinion. LA Knight, and then you got to. I worry about ending with these 2 long matches. It can be done. It's the route they've taken lately. But to end the show with Tiffany Charlotte and then the triple threat, because the triple threat's going long. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets high 20s.
That main event match, Justin, that's going 45 minutes.
There you go.
There's no way.
It's going long.
I bet if you looked at Roman's last 3 years of matches, I bet the average ring time is like 35, 40 minutes.
I agree with you on most of the card. I think Tiffany does go over, which is best for Charlotte. Jade probably wins. Ray probably wins. I don't know. I actually think, as boring as this sounds, initially, I think we see Heyman Reigns. Like we see the classic. Reigns wins. The wise man's in his corner. Maybe they're not 100% on the same page, but I actually think Roman goes over in the main event. Or the night one. I'm hesitant to call it the main event because there's only one main event and it's Sunday night. But the show closer on Saturday, I think Roman goes over.
And see, so this is my thing is, and I've been trying to dig this up. I will take anybody's help on this one. WWE usually signs talent to 5 years. We have had a 5-year run with the Tribal Chief. And he came back as Paul Heyman is on the record on a podcast with a music producer. I can't think of his name. It came out like after the LA WrestleMania. But Paul Heyman's like, yeah, Roman was in a contract year. He didn't want to come back because of the big dog stuff. The pandemic was happening. And he signed in 2020. And when he's on the reveal on that SmackDown is with me, it's like, because he signed a new contract. And they do 5-year contracts. So, and Heyman's contract might be up soon too, because he signed a new contract around that time. So if Roman's contract is up, he's not going to AEW. I'm not saying that, but they got to do something with him if it's a 5-year extension, because we've heard, Kevin Owens signed a new contract. Gunther signed a new contract. I think Sami Zayn signed a new contract recently. Where's Roman Reigns' contract? And is that his choice? And so this is why
you're asking a lot,
Roman,
though.
Yeah.
You're asking a lot to lose. You're losing Kevin Owens for the foreseeable future, right? Not contract dispute.
Yeah.
Legitimate issue. So you're losing KO. You have Punk. He'll be around. You have Rollins. He'll be around. But in terms of the top men stars, I don't know what happens with Cody. He's got his new podcast starting, so I don't know if he can go away. But I think Cody, you got to give him some.
We'll talk about Cody in a second.
But I think you need Roman on weekly TV.
Okay, so that's interesting, because Roman just did a video on his Instagram, on all his social medias about, like, I'm not a part-timer because I'm working out in the gym every day, which is true. He's just not on TV all the time. So if they sign him to a new contract, is that more dates and then do lessen the value of the tribal chief or Roman Reigns' new character? Because for all intent and purpose, Justin, if Roman and Heyman aren't together, the wise man is no more. The tribal chief is no more. That's from the Hall of Fame.
Which is why I think that they keep them together. I don't think they're done with
that. Is that best to move forward with those two together? Or is it like The Undertaker used to change the color of his gear, and then he evolved into a character that sells more, or a biker, or something that kind of evolves? Like, Roman had a good 5-year run as the tribal chief. So now what's the evolution of Roman Reigns going forward? And it's obvious that there are programs with Rollins and Punk, but, like, what does that Roman character look like? And if it's a more vicious, like when he came out initially, when he linked up with Heyman, his t-shirt read, "Wreck everyone and leave." Is that the Roman Reigns that we're going to get going forward? Because he's in Steve Austin DTA, don't trust anybody mode. And so when he does appear, he's blowing doors on everybody. He's not messing around.
I can't picture it. Just such an odd fit, and they're both spectacular. I can't picture Heyman with Rollins. Doesn't fit.
But what if that's a piece to a bigger story? And the bigger story, and the bigger story plays into some sort of newer stable that includes, so what is Seth Rollins' favor that he's going to ask of Paul Heyman? Could it be something like, call The Rock? I want to link up with The Rock. And so
where has The Rock been, by the way? I mean, come on.
If he'll be there. He'll be in Vegas. Don't you worry. He's got to upscale John Cena in some way.
Yeah.
Don't you worry. He's got to take the heat away from John Cena. That's what The Rock does best. But here's what I would say, Justin, and this kind of plays into the night two, is you could have a situation where you're ending night two with The Rock, John Cena, Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre all in the ring as a supergroup.
Could.
I don't think that will happen, but maybe that's the Seth Rollins favor, is like, you have to connect me with The Rock, and we have to go from there. Because there's
Doesn't
still,
this
like,
feel a little hollow, though, without a title? Like, you could still do Gunther and Jey Uso, and I don't know what you do with Jey. I agree with you, he wins the belt. What do you do with Jey? It's like, what comes next? I'm not sure what comes next for Jey. If you're going to do Gunther and Goldberg, which whatever, what do you do next with Jey? Like, I thought it would be Jacob Fatu. It's not.
That depends. That depends. I think short term, that depends on what happens in the Cody Cena match, right? Because if Cena loses,
which you won't,
which there's been too much time. I've talked myself into a potential Cody win. I think I've texted you this theory, but if Cena loses, there's a story with Jey Uso, and because Jey Uso eliminated John Cena from the Royal Rumble match, and now John Cena can chase Jey Uso because he's hungry for 17.
And shame on us for applying logic to pro wrestling, but Cena did say, if you beat me at didn't he say if he loses at Mania to Cody, he's going to retire? His dates are out. Like, not to reveal the everybody knows.
But John Cena's a villain now, Justin, so he lies or he manipulates or whatever.
But he manipulated. He hasn't lied yet, though.
I know.
That's the great thing about the character. Maybe that's what's coming. But John hasn't told a lie yet, which is. I can go back and forth. I actually,
but he can manipulate the truth, Justin. He can manipulate the truth.
But he hasn't. He's told his truth so far, but they haven't been lies.
I understand that. I'm just what I'm telling you is that a lot of what happens after Mania depends on the Cody Cena match. Like, Cody is still the SmackDown champion, so the fact that he's not being advertised for Raw doesn't really mean a lot. Like, because that's the whole internet. It's like, oh, Cena's winning because he's on Raw and he's doing WWE World Meet and Greets on Monday. Like, no, like, it's possible that they just
Cena's winning because the storyline depends on it. And it actually,
I don't know that it does, though, Justin.
Oh, it benefits Cody. You got to go back, and you and I are both. I mean, it happened in Boston. Steve Austin's title reigns, though, were all very quick. Why? Because there's the chase. I love Miss Pac-Man. It's all about chasing the pellets, and it's the chase. It's in between rounds. Miss Pac-Man chases Mr. Pac-Man, and I love Pac-Man. But wrestling's all about the chase. Cody will benefit from losing the belt. He'll get the crowd even stronger behind him. Cena's heel turn has done wonders for Cody. And I know they went to Europe, and that helps. But, like, the crowd's going to be loud for Cody Rhodes on Sunday. John has really helped put a brighter spotlight on Cody's brilliance. And that's the beauty of a great heel. He's going to make the babyface shine. It's such a thud if Cody wins on Sunday. I'm just curious how they do it, because
we'll talk about that in a second, Justin. We'll talk about that in a second when we get to night 2, right? Any other deeper thoughts on night 1? Because I have, yeah, go ahead.
You got to really tease Gunther winning. It needs to be like, this is Jay's moment. And part of that moment is, I think Roman's the best at the kick out on 2 3/4. But you need to, Jey Uso's one of the crowd favorites, but kids love him, right? So you open with him. You have him come out of the crowd. Kids are going nuts. Everybody's awake. It's the first match of the night. Nobody's tired yet. You need an awesome, like, Gunther performance that he destroys Jay, has him beat 1, 2, and then right before the hand hits the mat. Like, we need a really great kick out. Like, false finishes, that match to me is a false finish match. We need to believe, even if you know Jay's winning, you need to believe that Gunther is going to beat him. That to me is that's the story of the first match. How well do they execute their false finishes? That to me is reason alone to watch. Like, and they're two great performers, and I hope this isn't it for Gunther. I don't think it is. Like, you look at Damian Priest, who had the belt. He won it at 40, lost it at SummerSlam. I do think Gunther will be champ sooner than later, but I don't know. It's tough.
Would you have a Bret Hart Diesel finish to that match? Bret Hart Diesel from Survivor Series.
I know. Yeah.
95.
No, because Bret was established as a world champion. Like, Bret didn't beat Flair that way to win his first. And I know that was different because it was Saskatchewan, was that?
Yeah.
Where that took place?
Where Bret Hart had his first match.
First world title win against Rick.
Bret's first match was Saskatchewan. That's how they put it over on commentary.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how they did it on commentary.
Rio de Janeiro for the Intercontinental title. Yeah, I wouldn't, because it's the first title run. Like, Bret was a wily vet, and he wanted the belt back. And for Jay going over, I wouldn't do it that way. I think.
But wouldn't it be something if Jey Uso, the mascot, which I totally disagree with that, beats the wrestler with a wrestling hold? How about that for a story?
I think it's a big splash. I think you got to play the hits in that one, but it's false finish. It's false finish. It's false. How well the false finishes. But again, I'm curious how they play it out. I just don't think they're going to surprise us there. I think they're going to stick to the hits. It's the opening match. He is a kid favorite. And I know we're going to hold off on Cena, but it's the opposite of Sunday night, Easter Sunday night. Like, that's late night. I don't know what time the main event will take place, but it'll be late Sunday night. I think we can all agree on that, or later. It's the latest. It's the main event.
Well, they got
You need a
after
happy moment
party,
here.
Justin. They got after parties at the club, so they got
That's
to
right.
keep this thing
And
tight.
a comedy show and all these things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, Undertaker's gimmick and all that stuff. I do think that the Tiffy Charlotte debacle promo was actually good for the program because I think more people are invested in it.
They backdoored themselves into a great moment. Yes.
My antenna goes up because the reporting was pretty quick on this.
Instantaneous.
Yes. So somebody was ready for it. Whoever the leaks were, they were ready for it. So my antenna goes up on it.
It's a Miller High Life for you, Jim. The options were thin tonight.
As it's just like it was a little quick to how it got out there, and people were very quick to respond, being like, "Oh, backstage, both people were blamed." Like, yeah, it got out of hand, it got personal, but like, could it be that once again they're teetering on the Charlotte Becky Lynch, the Charlotte Nia Jax, like the Charlotte Rhea Ripley, like all this stuff?
Yes. And I'll say this, Jim, about the whole thing. Charlotte, and I don't have inside info on this one, but Charlotte Charlotte Flair had just done the interview where she talked about her divorce. At that point, it's fair game. If that hadn't come out and she was talking, and Tiffany was talking divorce talk, that's different. Then I'd be like, wow, that's really. But she just came out on a major show and talked about it. It's fair game.
Because very like I'm interested in the match. I still would have went Charlotte Rhea here. But I'm interested in the match because it's the young versus the new. And the wild thing about it, Justin, is that this was supposed to be the Charlotte Flair redemption story. This was supposed to be Charlotte
was supposed to play out. Yes.
Playing the role of Triple H when he came back from his injury.
And the crowd immediately said, no, we don't want that.
Didn't want it at all.
And they said they don't listen to the crowd. Come on.
Well, we'll see if they listen to the crowd and whether they go through and they put Charlotte over, or whether it's a Tiffy retain.
Which wouldn't shock me. I don't know. I just don't think, again, that New Japan style booking, I don't see all 4 world champions titles changing hands. But if you play that game, I think Rhea Ripley wins on Sunday. And the only reason she lost it was to win it back. I think Cody wins on Sunday. I think Jey Uso wins on Sunday. I would be interested in, you can't open the show with it, but if Gunther wins, well, then you could have Charlotte win. Like, I don't think you can have all 4 world titles change hands. It's too
so I think
Disneyland gimmicky.
I think if Jay and Gunther don't open the show, Jay's getting blown out.
Correct. 100%.
And then it's like, is Jey Uso done now?
If he loses that world title match, yes. I mean, Jay's going to be fine. Like, he's a star, but world title star. Like, if they have cold feet at all, but then again, you listen to the crowd and they love Jay. I don't know. Didn't Hunter? I haven't watched this Hunter interview yet, but didn't Hunter and Nick Khan do some podcast or some event and be like, yeah, the internet really doesn't matter in the big scheme of things. Like, we watch it and we're aware of it, but like, there's 20,000 people in the building doing the yeet thing. And they love Jay. That's why I think the show opens with Jay. Plus, to have 2 heel world champions, like Gunther winning, the story is he's going to lose. I mean, I just don't think you can get cold feet on Jay. You had him go over in the Rumble, which changed your plans. I still think the main event on Saturday, the last match on Saturday, is hollow without a world title. The World Heavyweight Championship would make sense. I mean, that would put a lot of shine on the World Heavyweight Championship if one of those 3, probably Rollins, it would make more sense to have the belt going in, were a title match. It's strange that it's not a title. Like, what is the – and I get it. It's a great story. But I'm just asking in terms of – explain it to me in a sentence. What's the point of the Saturday triple threat main event?
It's your 3 biggest stars who are available that night. And they
that's
put
not
the poster
a story,
Jim,
but I agree. But that's not a story.
I mean, that's what it is.
Yes.
If you were to say that it's Rollins and Roman main event night 1, done. Punk and Rollins main event night 1, done.
Punk and Roman
main event night 1, done. But you put all 3 of them, and it's essentially putting Paul Heyman on a pole to see what he's going to do because he's really the championship here, unless it somehow ties into night 2 and that they haven't said anything and they're going to do you remember WrestleMania 17 and they go to Howard Finkel for the announcement of the main event and it's Steve Austin and The Rock for the title. And Howard Finkel goes, and this match will be no holds barred. And JR goes, well, who the hell made that call? Maybe they do some stipulation at the last minute. You're like, oh, somebody's getting inserted to night 2's main event, or somebody's getting a future world title shot or something like that.
I miss JR. Not enough was made of his brief cameo, and you have you need more JR. Maybe they had restrictions, but
I think that was old footage.
Oh, really?
I think that was old footage.
Though. He looked recent. Oh, they didn't put a timestamp on an old. I don't like that. I'll check on that, Jim. I'm gonna make a note. But I thought of JR at the last AEW pay-per-view, and I thought the AEW pay-per-views, and I think wrestling's a better place. In much far exponentially better with AEW involved. It's made WWE a better product. If you are a WWE hardcore fan, you should be grateful there's AEW. And some of your favorites might be in AEW, but it's made wrestling off screen, on screen a better place. But their pay-per-views are so long that when you get to the main event, it's like an uphill battle because you've seen guys and girls, women and men do everything. So you get to the main event and it's really hard to win the crowd over. But to their credit, Moxley and Swerve had an awesome match in Philly at Dynasty. I thought it blew away. I had high expectations. I thought it blew away the highest of expectations. The finish was a thud because the lights go out, the Bucks come in. It's a heel finish, right? The bad guys win. Moxley gets the pin. But when the lights were out, it drives me nuts. It kind of makes sense with the Young Bucks because they're EVPs and they play into that character that they're in charge of the company. So you could turn the lights out. But I thought of was JR. There was one Dynamite a couple of years ago. The lights went out like 3 times, and Jim was like, again? The lights are out again? Which I guarantee you was not the cue in his headset. But I am so tired of the lights going out. But with the Bucks, it kind of did, because of the EVP thing, it kind of did make sense. So anyways, I'm off track.
But I do wonder, like, how do they play night 1 into night 2? Like, there's some connectivity there.
What does the main event mean? If you win the last match on Saturday, are you number 1 contender? It's funny that they shied away. Yeah, they shy. Well, because I think I have the answer to that. I think they know they've boxed themselves in a corner. You can't make the winner because I think Roman's not getting pinned, which tells me I think Roman's going to win that match. He could still go away. Monday, when Cena with the belt says, I'm out of here, who's going to get in his way and say, no, you're not?
You got to go Randy Orton
first. CM Punk. And the reverse of that storyline.
It should be Randy Orton because Backlash is in St. Louis.
But then you have to have Orton lose in St. Louis. That's the catch.
I mean, they've done it before. They've done the hometown, unless Randy Orton wins Money in the Bank. Oh, well, that's later.
Right.
Right? Like, this is...
I'd have Punk. If you want to go, if you go straight from Cody, Cena, which I've actually really enjoyed, to Cena Punk, I'm not sure. And if you're Netflix, if you're a wrestling fan and you're going to get Cena Punk, come on, sign me up. That's how I think we go.
I'm just like, because I know, because we know locations for things. It's like St. Louis Backlash. So Orton's either got to be fighting Jey Uso / Gunther for the world title, or he's got to be fighting Cena for the WWE title. Or he's got to be fighting Cody. Or like he's got to go in there as the hometown. Like originally he was saying, yeah.
He did say, I'm sorry, he did say to Cody, I want the belt next. But I don't know Cody's the champ. It's going to be champ. I don't know.
So
we'll say I think it's, I don't know what Orton. It's funny, he's just on the outside. He doesn't fit into that world title picture yet. His time will come though.
Yeah. And there's a story there with Cody. Anything else on night 1? That's a long pause. I'll say no on that. Let's go to night 2. Let's go to night 2.
Night 1.
Night 2. Here's how I would book it.
I think it's a big night for Jade, though. I will say, like singles match. Like, let's see what you got.
Night 2, I would open with Rhea Ripley winning the women's world title. And I would have her stack pin Bianca Belair and Io Sky. I would have them do the third ever stacked pin in a match. Do you know who the second one was? It's a
Well,
really obscure reference.
It was Roman. It was Roman, Bryan, Edge.
That was the first one. Do you know the second one?
No, what event, Jim?
It was NXT Deadline. It was in that women's Ultimate Jeopardy match or whatever they call it. And it was Lash, what's her name? It was the former WNBA player who's dating Trick Williams. And she stacked pinned like Tiffy and somebody else.
I'm gonna say too soon for the no, because you got to let the Roman one breathe. And that's a great story. Daniel Bryan isn't. That's when he decides he's leaving the company. Edge didn't like it, or Copeland didn't like it either.
Well, he doesn't like anything, so.
Well, you get Rhea first.
So
I wish Edge had a heel run with FTR. I know the play is to bring him and a Christian back together, but I actually would have liked heel Edge. But
man, he can't do it because they got to do Edge and Christian against the Young Bucks at some point. So I would have Rhea open the show, winning the world title. I would have AJ beating Logan Paul.
What's the point of that match?
To get AJ in the ring with Logan Paul. I would have Liv and Raquel retain the tag belts. I would have Dominic Mysterio win the Intercontinental Championship.
100%. Yep, I'm with you there.
I would have Damian Priest go over Drew McIntyre. I would have Randy Orton go over Solo Sikoa. And then I would have John Cena beat Cody Rhodes, but I think Cody's going to win. And I think The Rock and Steve Austin will be part of Cody retaining.
All right. I don't think they open with Rhea. But I do think the whole reason she lost the belt was to get it back at Mania. It's just kind of heating her up again. And now you can start what you tried to start a year ago, but she got hurt. And I've got no problem with that. It actually was a nice run, short but sweet for Io Sky. Like, it was a good run. It made her look good. She comes out of this looking better. And I think Io Sky, pound for pound, is maybe the best in the world, pound for pound. But she comes out of this looking great. That's a babyface win.
There is one little detail to this match that I saw on Sean Ross Sapp's little like factoids.
Yeah.
Bianca Belair has never lost a WrestleMania match.
In that case, she's due. I don't know if she'll get pinned, but I think
would you have her have the Undertaker streak? See how long she can go before they realize it?
I don't think take her backdoor his way into that streak, which is that's the best thing about wrestling. You never know what's going to happen. I don't think that maybe somebody cost Bianca the match.
There's a story with Jade and Naomi.
Yep. She's not going to win. I think that's tailor-made for Rhea, and she didn't even fit in the match story-wise, but they were creative. If I were younger, I probably liked it. I actually think the second match is the Vince spot. They'll put the women's tag team match there in the number 2 spot. I actually got a bad feeling, Jimmy, that Logan Paul wins that match.
Yeah.
AJ's kind of in his retirement run. I would have had AJ beat Joe Hendry for the TNA championship at Mania. You put over your partner in TNA and you give AJ a cool moment. I actually think Logan Paul wins that match, which stinks, right? Like, I don't want to see Logan Paul beat AJ Styles, but I think AJ's a team player, and I just don't see him putting up a fight to that.
I think you've heard as well that everybody in the room likes Logan Paul.
Yep. I don't think I don't think he's a bad guy. I'd rather he didn't beat AJ Styles, but I think Dom Mysterio wins. We're heel heavy right now. If that's the case, I actually agree with you. I think Priest wins that match too. And I think Drew's best, like, I think if you're Drew and you had the year he had, you'd rather be in a bigger spot. I think a loss does more for you here than a win, especially if you lose the right way. I think that's a match that could surprise people. The Sin City Street Fight, like, I think that could be fun.
And you've got two incredibly talented big guys.
Yeah,
they're creative. Yeah. They don't mind beating the crap out of each other. That's going to be a good match on that on night 2. And Penta, I have full bias towards both of them because I love both of them.
I also wouldn't be shocked if Penta wins the IC title.
See, I would have thought that before Ray Fenix came in. And to me, it's just a matter of time before they decide, okay, we're going to make these two a tag team. And
I'm surprised it happened in a week. It hadn't happened already. Yeah, I agree.
because Triple H likes to take his time.
Yeah.
Loves to take his time. And you get to a point where you get the tag belts on New Day, right? You get them in night one, and you slowly build towards Penta and Ray Fenix winning over New Day at SummerSlam.
And clearly they have no faith in the Motor City Machine Guns, because if they did, I know what you mean. You need something for Friday night, but if they wanted them on the Mania card, they'd be on the Mania card. I don't know how you don't have Sabin and Shelley on the Mania card.
I'll go back to the Royal Rumble. 2 out of 3 falls, Ciampa and Gargano, Motor City Machine Guns. Nobody in the building cared.
Yeah, and they must have.
And it hurts me because I love Tommaso Ciampa. It hurts me to have him in that big a spot and have the crowd not be interested.
They're going to like that match. Would have been better than New Day War Raiders. That match, I just don't see the chemistry. I didn't think it worked on Raw, a week ago. That match is going to be a thud too. The only good thing is, like you said, maybe you can get some Big E an insert in there, or Big E does something, whether he turns heel or whether he. I actually think Big E turning heel would be exactly what they need. They are, I don't want to say floundering because they're very talented, Woods and Kingston, but it hasn't connected. But if you put Big E in that role as their manager, and maybe he only made spot appearances, or it could be spectacular. You need they're not complete without all three of them. That's what we know about the New Day. You need Big E involved.
Yep, but he's got to be doing something. Even if he's an advocate on commentary for them.
Great. Love it.
That works too. He's good on those he's good on those pre and post shows too.
It's an easy story to fit him back, to reinsert him and say he saw the light. He understands what we're doing. Like, it's the three of us against the world. Yep. That to me makes a lot more sense than what they're doing. It just hasn't worked.
Yep. I think
Liv and Raquel, I'm with you on that. I think that's a little thank you to Liv for all she's done.
Yeah, she was tremendous. She brought the diva back to the women's title. She had a great run. Like, she was the villain underdog because of her size, and she overcame so many odds until finally Rhea caught up with her.
Plus, we're going to see some. I'm sorry, Drew, go ahead.
And plus, like, her run of beating Ronda Rousey twice was similar, except it was like everybody was behind her. Everybody was like enthusiastic, like, yeah, get her, Liv. And now they're like, oh, get her. No, like,
we're going to see the baby faces splinter in that match too, working with one another storyline wise.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, the thing I was going to add to the 4-way IC title match was, I want to see a Dom win, because I've been wanting Dominic Mysterio to win Money in the Bank for 2 years now. So if he can get his first Intercontinental Championship on a WrestleMania, and they also advance the Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio Judgment Day storyline, it also sets up Braun Breaker for a world title match against either Jey Uso or Gunther. Like, Braun Breaker, he's not ready yet for the world championship, but this is John Cena versus Brock Lesnar, the Backlash in Worcester, where the main event was Goldberg and Rock.
Or even Michaels Bretton. I know that was the Survivor Series in, where was that Survivor Series?
Was it Detroit? Did they do back-to-back years in Detroit?
Let's see, Joe, I'm going to have to go to the internet on this one.
Survivor Series 94?
Well, it was the year of Wembley, so wasn't it 93? Was Wembley 93?
94 was Texas Shootout. 93 was Boston, so it was 92.
92, you're right.
Richfield Coliseum, just outside of Cleveland. Joe Louis was Undertaker Hogan. You got me good there, brother.
Man, I wouldn't. Richfield, geez, good wrestling town. I mean, Ohio's a good.
Oh, great one, because they got the building for like nothing on Thanksgiving Eve. That's an old Bruce story. I miss the good old days of Bruce and Conrad, but
that match went. Yeah, I agree with you. That match went 26 minutes. That's something.
Yeah. So I would like to see Dom win his first Intercontinental Championship.
I'm with you. I think the crowd really responds to that. Like, that's a genuine Mania moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. And Dom coming out in a out of the jail truck, out of the paddy wagon in LA was a tremendous moment.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, jail will harden you up real quick. And then Priest over Drew, we agree on. So I think Orton's got to beat Solo pretty quickly.
My one issue with the Dom
Yeah.
prison spots, how do you not work Conan into it? Like, that's your chance to come on. He's friends. I mean, he like is responsible for Ray becoming Ray. You need a Conan. You got to tip your cap, and and Conan is a huge star in his own right. But that would have been a perfect time to even give a little cameo to Conan.
Can I give you a quick Conan story?
Yeah, of course. Always here.
I ghosted Conan. He sent me a direct message. If he hasn't been spammed or not, he goes, "Do you listen to my podcast?" ? And I haven't responded. I've ghosted a Hall of Fame wrestler.
If you're listening, nothing but respect.
He's not.
One of the biggest NWO stars that never gets talked about. He was huge for a little while in WCW. I'm a Conan guy.
Don't turn your back on the Wolfpack, because you might end up in a body bag. So I would have.
I think that's my surprise. That to me is the
Priest over Drew.
That was good. Yeah, but just the match in general. I think that's the one that's going to surprise people.
Yeah.
Looking back, hey, that match was fantastic, and I think Drew knows he can do more with a loss than what's a win do here. Priest, I think the win helps.
I do think though that Drew is going to get the world title at some point this year.
The world heavyweight title.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
I do think he's finally going to win it at one of these international pay-per-views. I think that's finally going to happen. And
maybe you can have him cost Punk. I don't think he's done with Punk, but I love the fact they kept them apart. But they even at the Elimination Chamber, they had to mock him, but they kept them apart. They haven't touched since October. A match that should have closed out that pay-per-view. You didn't need The Rock there. Didn't need him.
I agree.
Great match. That's a great, not even a great sell match. Just a great match.
I mean, they made the poster with them. Going in there, it was the main event until The Rock showed up and ruined everything. Yeah. So I like The Rock. Sounds it. I personally want to see John Cena beat Cody Rhodes. I personally want to see it happen. I have talked myself.
James, you are in luck.
I have talked myself into Cody has this death grip on the title. Right. And just hear me out on this one. And
I'm taking notes.
Interject. Right. So if you look at the Cody Rhodes resume since he came back to WWE, it's 3 straight pay-per-view wins over Rollins. He got 2 wins over Brock Lesnar, essentially retired Brock Lesnar. Right. And we know Brock's not coming back because of other stuff. But he essentially has retired Brock Lesnar. The last match of record for Brock Lesnar is a loss to Cody Rhodes and Brock Lesnar holding up Cody's arm. He wins back-to-back Royal Rumbles. He ends the 1,316-day reign of Roman Reigns. And now he's in the main event against John Cena at a WrestleMania after. That on its own for the last 3 years, 4 years, that is a Hall of Fame resume, right? Not to mention the fact that he helped start another wrestling company.
All the stuff with Cody dashing Stardust, you name it, like it's an old school story. It took him a while to get there. It means more. It's a very throwback. Like, to me, that's what makes Cody so special in this role right now.
He wasn't but that would be because you're adding to the resume, like John Cena's trying to get 17 and Cody Rhodes is standing in the way in the main event of WrestleMania and he's winning. And by the way, I don't want to see that happen. I want to be in the building when John Cena wins 17. That's what I want to see. But then it's Cody goes next to Randy Orton in St. Louis. Gunther, another win over Gunther, a win over Punk, another win over Roman, because they have to do Cody Roman 3. And The Rock's got 2 matches left. He should have 3, but he's got to have that match with Roman, and Cody's got to get his win back. So how does that happen? And that's why I think Cody, as much as I want John to win, I've talked myself into Cody retaining, because then that way that also sends the crowd home happy. And Steve Austin lives in Vegas. He's doing all the WWE meet and greets over the weekend. He's around. So if The Rock tries to help
Not an
John
icon
Cena,
guy.
here comes Steve Austin for the save and being part of Cody retaining.
Not a Nick Khan guy. Maybe I'll give you some good news. And this one's for you. You get to be in the building to see John Cena win number 17. It is happening Sunday night. I will give I don't know what I could put on it. My
Justin
stamp.
Barrasso lock of the week, where I get to say,
Yes.
wow, that's a big lock.
That is it. It's the lock of the week. It's the lock of the year. Cena is winning at WrestleMania. Yeah, it's written. Okay. It is time. Cody, and you everything you said was right. Cody's been spectacular, but it's time to end. You can't go too long on the title run. It's probably already reached its max. He was starting to get booed with the KO storyline on Saturday Night's Main Event. This is the whole point of the heel turn. And I love the fact that Cena's character is telling the truth. Not all the time in terms of he's upset with the fan base, but in terms of, why did he say he came back and wants to win 17? To shake the hand of the man who beats him. And then we get back into the babyface turn for Cena at the end. And maybe I don't think he wrestles Rock, but I don't know. Maybe there's an F5 or something, right? He does something to cap that. Maybe he does wrestle Rock, but this is Cody. John Cena is doing exactly what he said he would. Monday, he's got his new belt, or he's retiring the belt, and then he's halted by CM Punk. That's the way I see it going. I guess Monday could change, but my lock of the year is that
Justin, this feels insanely informed.
John Cena wins.
This feels insanely informed. I know
who
I'm here from the show. I'm here with, so
I'm here to enjoy WrestleMania, and
that feels insanely informed. So good for you, and I hope you're right, because you're not making the trip out to Vegas, are you?
I am not. I'll be covering from home. I like covering Mania, but I haven't been to Mania in a few years. But I think you get a lot of good access. It depends if you're going to cover something specifically. But if you're in the room and it's fun, right, to be in the room. But I actually think, for me, the times I've covered wrestling, like SummerSlam, for example. So I was at SummerSlam, was the last WWE major event I'd been to, like pay-per-view event or premium live event, whatever you call it. And it's the main event, and people are leaving the press box. Yeah. And I said, I can't leave the press box. I got to put my story up. I was still with SI at the time. They said, oh no, we're going to ringside. From ringside, we're going to the
interview room.
Box. Yeah. I said, well, I got to write my story. So I'm next to some guy, and I felt bad, like, who paid a lot of money for ringside seats, standing. He's guzzling a beer. I have my laptop in my hand. I'm typing with one hand. I couldn't get Wi-Fi, so I actually lost the story. It's, for working media, it just it didn't fit. So I'd rather be at home. And plus, in wrestling, I think it's an Eric Bischoff line. What are you watching if you don't have commentary? If you listen, they tell you everything, which is, I actually think Corey Graves is really good as a wrestling broadcaster. I don't think McAfee's there. And Pat McAfee's, in his defense, he's a lot newer, but he's in too big of a role, and they look at him too much. And Pat McAfee, by the way, was at the Rumble when they were showing his football highlights, and I was waiting for a joke. Like, he was I'm not knocking punters, but like, it wasn't Tom Brady. He wasn't Eli. It wasn't a Manning brother. And Jimmy, they were like just talking about his career like he was, I don't know. There's too much Pat McAfee in WWE right now. They are just, and I get
because he's part of the ESPN family.
Yes. He's very powerful.
An athlete. I think he's really good at his job. I think he's got a good feel for it.
They showed punt highlights, him punting. And I'm like, oh, there's an easy joke here. There was no quip. There was no, like, are you kidding me? But
I like McAfee. I think he's
better with Graves on the air with him, because he has a foil. You need a foil.
Yeah, of course. They all are. They're all better. Like, Jim Ross and Paul Heyman were better because they needle each other.
Yes.
Like, when
I think Jim Ross comes back. I think Jim Ross, my opinion, and this is purely opinion, I think he comes back, whether or not that was new or old, that footage from WrestleMania, not the 9 doc. Like, that's where JR would be really valuable. And that's not something AEW does too often, right? They're a fairly nascent new company. You don't have documentaries to write. I mean, or to air. But with Jim, he would just fit so well into WWE. You'd have him broadcast the occasional NXT match. You bring him on Raw occasionally, backstage interviews. There's things that I think JR would be better suited, not on a full-time basis, but better suited in WWE with so many projects going on. It just seems like he fits so well there right now.
Yeah. I love JR. I enjoy bitter JR. But also like there was something going around the internet about, what if JR had called John Cena's heel turn? And it was great. It was a great video. If I find it, Justin, if I haven't sent it to you already,
I don't think Michael Cole would love that, but I think you just are clear about Cole should be perfectly content with his role now. He's the man there.
Well, but and he signed what, a 10-year extension or something like that?
Yeah, something ridiculous. Yeah,
he signed a long-term extension. Yeah. So he's fine. And Michael Cole goes down as the longest tenured lead voice in WWF WWE history. He was the lead voice longer than Vince, longer than Gorilla, longer than JR.
I like Michael Cole, but probably beneath each of those guys, maybe better than Vince, but I don't know. JR is definitely above him, and I know we're biased because we're of that era, of that Attitude Era. And Gorilla was so special. Gorilla, turned this promotion into something that it needed to be. He gave them the voice that they needed in the 80s when they were trying to establish themselves and become this powerful entity. So I think at best, Cole's 3 on that list. I'd be curious where you rank him.
I go JR 1. I go Gorilla 2. I go Vince 3.
I do too. I do too.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, I will always remember what a maneuver. And this is strictly play-by-play, guys. I mean, if we're going teams,
yes.
I know everybody wants to say Gorilla and Bobby were the best team. I thought Gorilla and Jesse were the best team.
Yeah, they were. Not even close.
I thought they were the best team because they would play off each other, but they also had the respect of each other.
That's
that
the thing.
Goes a long way.
Yes, and Jesse, you could just hear it in his voice. And listening back now, you can still hear it. Like he loved. Occasionally, he'd break and call him Gino. He loved Gorilla. I mean, and Bobby and Gorilla loved each other. They had a real deep friendship too. But there was something special. And Jesse was just a little more biting, and Bobby was a better manager. Like Bobby was great in that role. And I mean, that's when wrestling was wrestling, right? You had Heenan, Ventura. Heaven forbid, though, Jimmy, if you were watching the show and Lord Alfred Hayes was on the broadcast, woof. Poor his lordship. But Shivani didn't fit back then either. Like even Shivani Ventura, that was a SummerSlam, and it was at a Rumble too. But
so I liked them together because Jesse would bully Shivani and he'd threaten him with his fist and everything like that. But Shivani always got to where they needed to go, and Jesse was the seasoning on the steak. Like I think Tony Schiavone's run for that year in WWF was excellent.
See, I never thought he fit. I never thought he fit the ethos.
And Vince agreed with you, by the way.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because the only reason why he got the Rumble was because Vince was overtanned, allegedly. Do you know that? Have you heard that story?
I hadn't heard that. No.
That was that was a Schiavone Conrad story. Is that
the most
Schiavone always brought his tux, and Vince was baked in the Tampa Sun or wherever it was, Orlando Sun. And Vince is like, Schiavone, you've got the Rumble tonight. Okay.
The most fascinating interview in pro wrestling right now, and he was sorely lacking in the WrestleMania 9 doc. It's Vince. You need some Vince. I mean, if anybody can get Vince, that's the interview. Like, what does he think of the current product? What does he think of the Cena heel turn? Would he have done it differently? Would he have not done it? What did he think of Cody's title run? What does he think of Roman? And I know there's bigger things going on with Vince right now, but in terms of, I think wrestling fans would be interested in hearing his wrestling perspective. That's the interview that you need.
Vince isn't going to do that.
Somebody can get him. Somebody can get him.
Conrad could get him.
He's up there. You can get him. It's just going to be very, very hard.
Conrad's the guy to get him. Like, I know for a time, and you probably know this too, Conrad had a good relationship with Vince. I don't know what that looks like these days.
Right.
But I know that they had a good relationship at one point.
Conrad's great too. So if anybody can do it, it'd be him. But yeah, I just think that Vince interview, if anybody could get it, It would be spectacular.
But see, the last time Vince did a long form interview was with McAfee. And
right. Or
Netflix.
It
was good. So the Bill Simmons thing, like but I have an anti Bill Simmons thing. So that's my bias. But like, I thought that Netflix thing could have been so much better, and it wasn't. There were so many things that were left out that I wanted.
Yes.
And a lot of that is Bill Simmons would wait all day for Vince to finally get there, and Vince would be tired and wouldn't get the quality Vince out of it. But Vince is also close to 80 years old. So it's like, I don't know what Vince is throwing for fastballs these days, but it's not 99 under the chin. It's more like he's Jamie Moyer and he's trying to get by with 85 over the corners. Right?
Great reference to Jamie Moyer.
But like one of the reasons why I think WWE is in business with TNA is because Vince was going to buy TNA. Because it's a turnkey promotion for him.
Yeah, I think in the Vince, and I believe it, the Vince, it was a Bischoff story, the Vince, David Feldman from BKFC. I believe it. I don't think Vince, whatever Vince is planning, he's not done yet.
All right, here's my final question, Justin.
Yeah. Thank you. Good time, by the way.
Oh yeah, we're at an hour.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for.
Yeah, please. You're my friend, and I like talking wrestling.
Oh, I meant the people who are watching us. Oh. You too, as well. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. If you're tuning in, thank you.
Oh no, it's just me. It's all about me, Justin. My final question is: The Rock did a video.
You're going Barrasso to Felger, right? You doing late night with Felger tomorrow?
No, I am doing the off-air show with Felger tomorrow. Actually,
yes,
we're gonna do WrestleMania prop bets, which I actually have to write up.
I can't wait.
Yeah. 20 minutes of Vegas talk, Grateful Dead talk, and WrestleMania prop bets, all of which I have.
You a Grateful Dead guy?
No, this will be my only exposure to the Grateful Dead is the rejoins that we play on the show, and I want to see the spear. Andy Wong wants to see the spear, so it was like, we're going to Vegas, we're going to see the spear. It didn't matter what was playing there.
Kowloon shout out real quick. The best
absolutely.
of the best.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And if the Kowloon's the best, Andy's even on a rung higher than that somehow. Andy Wong is the real deal.
Absolutely.
It's not the Eagles anymore?
So the Eagles are played last weekend.
Okay.
The Grateful Dead are. So like, I'm literally going on Easter weekend to hear satanic music at the Spear, right? And I've been offered more than enough performance enhancing drugs. But my last thing is about The Rock. The Rock did a video with a Rubik's Cube and he had a New Japan t-shirt on. Now, people are reading into this that it's like, oh, The Rock is going to open up the New Japan Forbidden Door and WWE is going to be working with them. I think he's trolling Carl Anderson because Carl Anderson made some very pointed comments about the culture in WWE because of The Rock, is that when The Rock's around, people will work on eggshells. I've heard that too. And that was just The Rock being like, oh, I see you, Carl Anderson. I see you. But people are speculating about, could there be a John Cena Tanahashi match? Right? And if John Cena wins his 17th world championship, could that be the IWGP championship? And could that be a thing too? So Justin, I want your input on The Rock's t-shirt, a WWE relationship with New Japan, any and all of it.
The New Japan AEW relationship is, pun intended, rock solid. I think it was smart for Dwayne Johnson to wear that shirt, or The Rock to wear that shirt, especially that weekend. Last weekend, who do you think of? You think of Tanahashi with no knees. Wrestled a phenomenal match with Takeshita in Chicago at the Windy City Riot. It was billed as his last match in America. I don't see it. The one thing WWE could do for New Japan, and Tanahashi's the president, the one thing they could do for New Japan is put a bright spotlight on a company that isn't drawing as well. Internationally, they're all right, but in Japan, they're trying to do things differently in Japan. If you were able to insert some WWE stars, it would certainly help. But New Japan's a company built on loyalty, and they have a very loyal relationship with Tony Khan. I don't see it, but again, I think it was The Rock just trying to stir the pot, and he does it quite well. I'd rather we see him in the WWE ring instead of trying to solve a Rubik's Cube on his Instagram page. But we got a WrestleMania story to tell, so I don't think it goes anywhere. But I think it's a fun
if the
little nugget.
Tokyo Dome show, if the Tokyo Dome show wasn't January 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, whatever it is, and you could send John Cena there for one match, would you do it?
I mean, they could still, like, Dominion's a big show in June, huge for them,
But
right?
it's not the Tokyo Dome, Justin. It's not the
True.
Tokyo Dome. And I know that one of the great matches I've ever watched, I woke up for at 3 in the morning to watch Omega and Okada
In the Tokyo Dome.
in the 2 out of 3 fall match at Dominion where Omega finally gets it.
Yep.
Um
Love that match. Great story.
It's fabulous. It's the fourth of their matches because people forget about the one where they were in the G1 tournament, and the two big matches where Kenny almost wins and then Kenny pins him in the G1, and then Kenny wins. He beats Okada 2 straight falls to win the
Since we're
IWGP
talking New
title.
Japan,
Yeah.
since we're talking Omega Okada, I wish that was for the world title at All In. Speaking of world titles,
I texted you, and this will be our last thing because I need to go to bed. Because it's 10:30. It's way past my bedtime, Justin. I just want you to know that. I'm 44. I'm old. I have bedtimes. I think that they should consolidate titles, and I think they should do a 4-way elimination match. You walk in with Kenny has a title, Okada has a title, whoever your world champion is at the time.
Moxley,
And
let's
now,
say.
if it's Moxley, I would have said Swerve, but if it's Moxley, and
The Owen
either
Hart Cup winner,
Adam Page, or I love Adam Cole, but you put all the 4 champions in one ring, and it is a 4-way elimination, winner take all, and Kenny Omega wins it.
That to me, to tie back to WrestleMania, that to me would add a whole new dimension to night one. If you made the triple threat in ECW style, which it would make sense because Paul Heyman's prominently involved. If you made that a triple threat elimination style match, and you had 2 guys had to get pinned for 1 guy to win, that's a main event on night one. That's something we've never seen in WWE in this because WWE it's a fatal type triple threat. Like the first guy to get pinned, it's over.
Which is what made that Roman Reigns stack of Danielson and Edge. And maybe if Roman does win that match, that's how he wins it. He's like, these fools aren't even in my league, and I'm just going to stack them.
I don't think we'll see the stack, but I'm here for it.
I'm here for it too. Justin Barrasso is a combat sports correspondent. He does undisputed.substack.com. He is one of my very best friends. He is a wonderful person. He's somebody I love talking wrestling to and with, whether it be in front of a microphone or over text or just sitting at the bar having a drink. So Justin, thank you for your time. I appreciate you. And, we'll.
And if you're watching this tonight, I can't wait for the Felger Stewart. That's a WrestleMania main event right there tomorrow night.
Well, so the last time I did the off-air show, I kind of lit a torch to a lot of people in the business. So I don't know that I'll be doing that, but
it's a WrestleMania themed episode. We're going to be singing.
All right, for those of you who watched live, I love you too, Justin. I appreciate your time, and the viewers out there who are watching this live or will be watching it or listening to it through the podcast stream. Everybody enjoy WrestleMania, and I got to figure out what my coverage is going to be, whether it's going to be a bunch of quick Twitter videos or whether it's going to be on the TikTok or whatever. I haven't figured that out yet.
But when do you get back?
I land at like 10 o'clock on Monday, Eastern time. So I'll be watching Raw while I'm in the air. Because I hate the Raw after Mania. I think it's the most overrated show ever.
And lately, SmackDown's been better after Mania.
I agree. And I can't wait for SmackDown to go 2 hours, go back to 2 hours, which will be this summer. So, Justin, thank you. Everybody else, have a good night. Enjoy WrestleMania.